77 million ounces. That is all that stands between 134.8 million ounces of paper silver claims and a delivery default at COMEX. Coverage ratio, 13.9%. Below 15% is where exchange analysts flag stress territory. That line has been crossed. OG John AG here. Drop OG John AG in the comments if you are here paying attention and actually learning. Now, first notice day on the May silver contract is 4 trading sessions away. Let's get straight into it. Before we go further, if this kind of data-first analysis is what you have been looking for, hit the like button right now. Subscribe to OG John AG 1.0 and share this with one person who needs to see these numbers. Now, back to the data. Lead story today, COMEX. As of April 24, 2026, registered silver in COMEX-approved warehouses stands at approximately 77.1 million troy ounces. Total silver futures open interest, approximately 134.8 million ounces. That is 26,963 active contracts. The coverage ratio is 13.9%. Below 15% is the threshold exchange analysts have historically flagged as stress territory. It has been breached, and the breach is not small. The registered base has seen a roughly one-third drawdown since the September 2025 peak. One-third in 7 months. That is not noise. That is a directional drain. The timing is what deserves scrutiny, not the number alone. The timing. May 1st notice day arrives in 4 business days. First notice day is the first date on which a holder of a short futures position can notify the exchange of their intent to deliver physical metal. 4 sessions from now. Think about what that sequence actually means. The ones paying attention already know what to watch next. Before I show you the full data picture, consider this. The last time COMEX registered silver coverage fell below 15%. Silver repriced by more than 40% within the following 2 contract cycles. The data is already telling you something. Let's build it out. Now let's build the full picture because the 13.9% coverage ratio does not exist in a vacuum. The CME Group warehouse report, published daily by CME Group directly, shows registered silver at 77.1 million troy ounces as of April 24, 2026. Against that, 26,963 open May contracts represent 134.8 million ounces of outstanding paper claims. Paper leverage sits at 7.2 times the immediately deliverable registered base, 7.2. For context, in mid-January 2026, COMEX registered silver inventories saw over 33 million ounces drain in a single compressed window. That represented approximately 26% of the registered base at that time. That delivery cycle resolved, but it left the registered base smaller, and the open interest approaching this May delivery is elevated. London's silver lease rates have remained elevated throughout this period, a signal that physical borrowing pressure in the Western market is not easing. The Shanghai Gold Exchange benchmark for silver closed at approximately $86.06 per ounce on April 24th. Western spot, $75.70. That is a $9.56 premium. 12.5%. The 6-month average Shanghai premium is 10.0%. The current reading is above that average and widening. The rate of drain is not slowing, it is compounding. The Silver Institute projects a 6th consecutive annual deficit of approximately 67 million ounces in 2026. China's silver imports reached their highest level in 8 years in early 2026. The data is doing the talking. The ones who were called alarmists for flagging the COMEX coverage ratio, they are not saying much right now. And here is what makes that picture even harder to ignore. Paper leverage at 7.2 times the registered base, a coverage ratio of 13.9%, a Shanghai physical premium of 12.5%, 250 basis points above the 6-month average, and first notice day arriving in 4 sessions. At the same time, the vast majority of COMEX silver contracts historically roll over or settle in cash without triggering physical delivery. That is the structural reality of how futures markets operate. That is not a contradiction. That is the setup. And before anyone takes that as a green light, setups can take a long time to resolve. The coverage ratio tells you the structural picture. The exact timing of when paper meets physical is a completely separate question. Anyone who claims to know the timing is selling something. Now, the US-Iran situation. Because this is no longer a backdrop, it is the primary variable. Here is the number most people are not running. The Strait of Hormuz carries approximately 20% of daily global oil supply. The strait has been effectively blockaded since the conflict began. Brent crude is holding above $90 per barrel as a direct result. That $90 oil floor is doing two things simultaneously. It is generating persistent inflation pressure across the global economy, and it is forcing the Federal Reserve, which holds rates at 3.50 to 3.75%, to maintain a hawkish posture. The Fed meets April 29th to 30. Markets are pricing a 99.5% probability of no change. What the market has not fully priced is the language of the statement if Kevin Warsh, the Fed chair nominee, signals that cuts are off the table entirely for 2026. Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi arrived in Islamabad on Friday evening. Pakistani government sources cited a high likelihood of a breakthrough. Markets are still pricing a partial resolution. Look at the Shanghai silver premium at 12.5% and tell me what probability the physical market is putting on that. When markets start pricing the reality that the strait remains blocked into Q3, oil reprices higher, real yields rise further, and the hawkish Fed hold becomes a prolonged ceiling on rate-sensitive assets in the short term. But the physical silver market does not care about rate cycles. It cares about deliverable metal. And deliverable metal is at 13.9% coverage. That is the historical pattern. Every time physical delivery pressure has built at COMEX into a thin registered base, it has not been different yet. Silver Western spot at $75.70 per ounce. Shanghai Gold Exchange benchmark, $86.06. That is a $9.56 gap. The short-term picture is binary and honest. If the Islamabad talks fail this weekend and oil holds above 90, the inflation narrative stays intact. Physical delivery demand into May 1st notice day has a thinner registered base to absorb it. Silver has a path toward $82 to $88. If a credible US-Iran peace framework emerges over the weekend, oil gaps lower. Dollar strengthens. Leveraged silver longs liquidate on the Monday open. Silver tests 68 to 72. That is the only short-term read that matters right now. As for trading it, I cannot see a clean picture on the lower time frames right now. I cannot tell you what silver does tomorrow. Nobody can. The weekend binary catalyst is real. COMEX is closed. The next price discovery happens on Monday's open after 60 hours of geopolitical news flow with no ability to act. Sidelines is not weakness in this environment. It is the only edge there is. I have called this market both directions. I will call it again when I see it clearly. Right now, I do not see it clearly. The tape decides, not me. Here is the honest truth. Both sides of this trade have a real case, and the one you ignore is the one that will cost you. So let's run both. The bear case is real. 1. The majority of COMEX silver contracts historically roll or cash settle without triggering physical delivery. The system is designed for this reality. 2. A US-Iran peace deal this weekend removes the energy inflation premium and sends the dollar above 100, pressuring silver towards 68 to 72. 3. Eligible silver in COMEX vaults, approximately 470 million ounces as of February 2026, can convert to registered in 24 to 48 hours if the premium incentivizes it, providing a conversion buffer. The bull case is equally real. 1. COMEX registered silver is at 13.9% coverage with paper leverage of 7.2 times, and first notice day arrives in 4 sessions. Delivery demand does not need to be large to create acute pressure on a thin base. 2. The Shanghai Gold Exchange is paying 12.5% above Western spot, confirming that the world's largest physical silver market is already pricing tighter supply conditions than COMEX reflects. 3. The Silver Institute projects a sixth consecutive annual supply deficit of 67 million ounces in 2026, and China's silver imports are at an 8-year high. Structural demand is not a futures market story, it is a physical reality. Size correctly. Know what you are in before you are in it. The physical market already knows where this is going. The paper market is still arguing. That argument does not last forever. Everything I showed you today points to one thing. The structural pressure is already built into this market. The registered base is thin. The coverage ratio is in stress territory. The physical premium in Shanghai is widening. The only question is whether the paper market catches up to what the physical market already knows, or whether a weekend geopolitical resolution resets the clock. Don't take my word for it. Verify every number I gave you today. Check the CME Group Daily Warehouse Report directly at cmegroup.com. Check the Shanghai Gold Exchange benchmark at sge.com.cn. Check the Silver Institute supply and demand data at silverinstitute.org. Logic over hype. Always. If this analysis added value, like this video right now. Subscribe to OG John AG 1.0 so you never miss a data drop. Share this with one person who needs to see these numbers. The ones running the OG John AG 1.0 playbook do not wait for the mainstream to catch up. They already know. OG John AG 1.0 out.